Hi, today I want to talk about budget airlines versus your traditional or legacy airlines. There's a surge of low cost options for travelers who are looking to save money for their flights and make it to their destinations without breaking the bank. So, what is the attraction of these budget flights, and are you really saving once all of the add ons are calculated? Let's get to it. So, what is considered a budget airline? The main budget airlines within the United States are Spirit, Frontier, Southwest, JetBlue, Ryanair, and Allegiant. These airlines offer discounted options for travelers to make it more affordable. These airlines remove many of the amenities that you are used to on your traditional flight, such as complimentary snacks, a carry-on allowance, and seat options. So what do you get when you travel on a budget airline? The airline usually only charges you to get on a plane, meaning all of the amenities usually come with a charge. For example, if you book your seat ahead of time, there's a charge for that. If you option to have a carry-on, there's also a charge for that as well. Also, things like snacks that's on board, there's usually a charge for that as well. If you decide to check a bag, and depending on the weight of the bag, then more than likely you will have to pay according to that as well. And if you wait until you get to the airport, there's going to be probably a surge charge if you don't purchase that bag ahead of time. And only certain size carry-ons are allowed within the allowance of the airline before they charge you. For example, if you carry a small backpack that can fit underneath the seat in front of you, then there's probably not going to be a charge. However, if the attendant believes that your bag is too large, they can charge you upwards of $100 because you didn't purchase it ahead of time. Once you get on the flight also, you will probably have to purchase your snacks unless it becomes complimentary based on your status. Other things to keep in mind is that the airlines may not have a hub destination, which limits their availability. The budget airlines operate on a point-to-point system. So for example, if I start out in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm headed to New York, that plane will go from Atlanta to New York, and then from New York, it probably will travel to another destination like Michigan. And then from Michigan, it probably travels to the next point, which will be Kansas. And then from Kansas, it may route back to Atlanta again in a circle. That means it's going from a point-to-point system, which ultimately saves the airline money. However, what affects travelers is that if the plane is delayed at its original destination, say like Atlanta, and then it does not make it to the next destination, it's either delayed or canceled, then the other three legs of that flight is either canceled or delayed as well, which can ultimately affect the average traveler. So let's compare traditional airlines with your budget airlines. Your traditional airlines within the United States are Delta, United, and American. Those are the three major airlines that offers full service and operates out of large hubs. They also have global brand recognition and they maximize their routes. For example, if you're choosing a flight on your traditional airline, you might have 8 different options to choose from to go direct to your destination, which serves more of a good purpose if you're trying to get to where you need to as expeditiously as possible. Also, the traditional airlines normally offer frequent flyer miles, upgrades, they might have lounge access, and depending on your status, you can probably get these things for a fraction of the cost or maybe free. Also, when you have your long haul flights or layovers, those amenities are good options for the average traveler. The majority of the time on your traditional airlines, you will have a first class or business class option as well for more comfort. However, the traditional airlines are trying to compete with the budget airlines, and they're starting to offer a low cost fare for travelers who are not interested in those amenities. So, what this means is that instead of getting all of the perks like your seat assignments and your luggage included if you're going to check a bag and carry on allowance, they option for you to omit those things while you're booking. Meaning, I will have to pay if I want to upgrade my seat. I will have to pay to check my bag or anything else that I'm looking for. Maximizing the best options to fly would be during the weekday on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Sundays, Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays are considered premium days of the week, and the ticket prices are a lot higher. Those days between Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturdays, they offer the best deals when booking your flights. So let's compare Frontier Airlines and Delta Airlines and see how much of a cost savings that there really is. So remember I said to book your flights during the weekdays, Tuesday, Wednesdays, or Saturdays. So I'm going to book it on a Tuesday, which is the 7th, and return back on that Saturday. I'm going to go from Atlanta to LJ to New York. Let's see how much it costs. Oh, right now it says $73 round trip. Let's look down on the dates. They have one flight leaving at 7:54 and getting there at 10:09. The $73 is for discount den, and what happens is with that is that you have to have a membership. And I think the membership is about $99 for the year. And throughout the year, if you're going to fly often on Frontier, then you would always be able to get this discount den price throughout the year. However, I don't have that, so I'm going to pick the $94, which is still not bad. And then the same thing, returning back on that Saturday at 10:53 and getting into Atlanta at 1:32. All right, so let's go and continue. All right, so this is where you will have to pay for additional costs. So let's compare. So right now you have the perks bundle, which is $106. Then you have the works bundle, which is $137, or you can customize it, meaning a la carte, or they call it unbundle. So let's see what each one has to offer. So for $106 per direction, mind you, you could have a personal item, a carry-on, a check bag, and you could select your seat. Now for the works, for a few more dollars, $137 per direction, then you can have a personal bag, you can have a carry-on bag, and you board first. This way you know that you have enough room in the overhead space. Then you have your check bag, seat selection, and then it says flight flexibility. Say if you change your plans, you can change your flight without change fees. And then you have refundable. So if something happens and you cannot make your flight, then you have refundable. However, if you go with the unbundle or customize, then you are charged for each item. So you can take your personal item, which means a small backpack or small bag that could fit in the seat underneath the seat in front of you. And then, of course, you will have to pay for your other things. So let's see if I would customize it. So from Atlanta to New York, I will purchase one of these extra legroom seats because I'm tall. So you have the emergency exit, which is $26 up to $30. And then you could go to the front of the plane at $33. And the window seat is $33 and the aisle seat is $33. The middle seat is cheaper once you goes further back. It's at $26. Now you have the other seats at $25 to $26. The lowest in this section is $21. And of course, if you go to the back, you range between $16 up to $20 if you go all the way up here. So that's still not bad, still affordable if you want to select your seat ahead of time. However, if you do not want to select your seat ahead of time, and you are dependent on the airline to place you in a seat, that is fine as well. They will place you in a seat when you check in 24 hours before your flight. Now, so if I leave everything as is and I don't want to purchase anything extra, no bags or anything like that, my flight cost total will be $93.96. So, sound great, right? All right, so let's move forward. No thanks, I'll take whatever. So that's what they asked. Do you want to pick your seat? No thanks, I'll take whatever. Now, they still offer you these things. What do you want to do? So do I want to take a carry-on? I can say yes, and that one with board first, it will be $62. If I just want to take a plain carry-on, that's $53, and no carry-on, that's $0. So let's see. All right, so if I wanted to check a bag, see, they break it down between the price of the bag or the weight of the bag. So if you got 40 pounds, which they lowered that, usually airlines let you carry up to 50 pounds, but for fuel costs and saving the airlines money, they dropped it a whole 10 pounds. So you could check a 40-pound bag at $48, and that's each way. Or you could carry 2 bags, and that's going to be $116, or 3 bags at $204. So, of course, your personal item, which is a small bag, and they give you the requirements of 14 by 18, which is 8 inches deep as well, and that will be free. All right, so let's continue. I don't need a carry-on. So now we're saying avoid paying change fees. So I can add flight flexibility for $19.99 per direction, or I could do priority boarding and get on there approximately first, say be the first to get on a plane in zone 2, but you're really not getting on first. So let's just break this down. You're getting on after the individuals that say board first. So it said be one of the first. It doesn't say you're boarding first. So there's a difference. Then down here, of course, you can insure your trip. It says travel insurance up to $13.25, which is not bad. All right. Then they offer car rentals, but I don't need any of that. And if you want to do, they even charging you to talk to the agent. So if you do self-service, meaning you're not checking a bag, you have the app, you check in online, then you just make your way to the airport, and then you show your boarding pass to the security once you get there with your ID. So that's free. So of course, I'm going with the free. I don't need to see an agent. And let's see here. Then you have, if you want to upgrade to the works, you can, or try to bundle. So I'm going to go continue. All right, so continue. All right, so now it says error, do not use promo code, book now. Okay. Let's see. So right now I don't have any bags. I don't have anything. I don't have any extras. So for me, my total cost of the trip will be $93.96, which is great. So now let's go to Delta. All right, so with Delta, it's pretty straightforward. All right, so I'm going to pick a round trip. I want to depart the same dates the 7th, return on the 11th, and 1 passenger. And so, done. Oh, I guess where am I going, right? That will make sense. ATL to LGA, New York LaGuardia, and let's search. It says enjoy free Wi-Fi. Okay, so now let's option out. So with Delta, let's just look at how many flights they have going to New York on a Tuesday, right? They have 6 a.m., 7:15, 8:15, 9:15, 10:15, 11:15, 12:15, 1:40, 3:24, 26, 7, 8:45, 9:45. They have plenty of flights. So that's what I meant by options. So if you go with the flight, so let's say I want to leave at 7:15 in the morning. If you go with basic economy is 198. And that's what I mean about the airlines competing to see if they can capture some of those low fares and those individuals who don't mind flying on Delta because there's more options, but they do not need all of those amenities. So you can choose, you could go to the main cabin, you can purchase Comfort Plus. So all of these options here are more than Frontier Airlines. So Frontier, I was able to approximately, let's round it up, $94 for a round trip. Say if I wanted to go with the basics, do the same exact thing that I did on Frontier. I'm not carrying anything. I'm just going to take a small little backpack that could fit underneath the seat. Then the difference is literally $102 more, something like that. If I'm doing, or I might be off, $104 more than Frontier Airlines. However, as I stated before, if I need multiple options, if my 7:15 flight was to cancel, then they have 8:15, 9:15, 10:15, 11:15, and 12:15. The possibility of me getting on another flight is very high. So those are your differences, and that's what you have to determine what you are willing to do. And is one flight per day okay, or do you need multiple flights just in case anything was to happen? So I hope that this explains it. One question that I get asked often is, when should I travel? When you're dealing with budget airlines versus traditional airlines, that matters. So for example, I would not travel on the budget airlines during the holiday times. So what are those holiday times? The holiday times are any major holiday, from Christmas to Thanksgiving to New Year's to the 4th of July, Labor Day, Martin Luther King Day. I'm going to even throw Valentine's Day. That's not a real holiday, but Valentine's Day. Anytime you see that there's a 3-day weekend or extra day off, most people travel because they have time off of work or the kids are out of school. So if you have to make a decision with that, try your best not to book those flights on the budget airline during those times. You could take the chance, but know that there's maybe a strong possibility of your flight being either delayed or canceled. And there might not be any other options available to you because they might operate with only one flight that day. However, if you must, try to leave ahead of the curve. Meaning, if you know around Christmas time, those dates, you could see by the price. You can look online, when does the flights peak? And that's how you know when it's going to be peak time. So you might want to go a couple of days before that time or a week before you are scheduled to leave to avoid that rush. In this way, you can spend time with your family, be there during the holidays, and try your best to make it there. Also, the same thing for returning home. Okay, you made it there, you went early. When you're going back home, you have to account for that time as well. And I realize that some people may not have a lot of time off of work, but you take those chances if you have to be back at a certain time and a flight delays or it cancels. So make your decisions wisely. Understand that that is a strong possibility, especially during the peak season. And the peak season for airlines is any time there's a major holiday, 3-day weekend, when the kids gotta get out of school, depending on what state you live in, from the end of May all the way through Labor Day. You have to make those informed decisions for you and your family. Normally, because I know that, I do not travel during those peak times 99% of the time. I usually travel through September after Labor Day, and I might stop at the end of October, maybe the beginning of November. And then I might start again in February, and then I stop right before spring break. Because, and I forgot to mention that, spring break as well. Everybody is traveling during that time. So there's peaks, there's highs, and there's lows. I try to fly when there's lows, and if I'm going to choose a budget airline, I'm going to fly during the lows. I'm not going to fly when it's high peak season and there's no other options for me. You might be in a situation where you have to rent a car and make it back home and drive hours on end, especially if they cancel and they cannot rebook you for 3 to 4 days, or maybe sometimes a week later. That might not be beneficial to you or your family. So try to make those decisions the best way you can. When I make that choice between a budget airline and a traditional airline, what I do is, of course, compare price. What is the most cost-effective way to get to where I need to be? Also, I check to see how many flights they have going to my destination. So to compare, on a budget airline, the way that I do it is I make the decision if there's a direct flight. If there's a connecting flight, then 9 times out of 10, I will not choose that flight. I will go on the traditional airline that offers many direct flights, and this way I have options. I may have to pay a little bit more. However, if I need to get to where I need to be, especially for work, I'm going to choose a traditional airline because I do not want to put my job on the line. If I have a lot more leisure time, if I'm on vacation and I have a lot of time to play with, or if I'm visiting family, then I probably won't mind if I get delayed or if I have to stay an additional day. And that's normally how I make my decisions. So one of my favorites, and I don't like to pick and choose, but I'm going to go with 2 of my favorite airlines for right now. And that's always subject to change because it depends on the type of customer service that I'm receiving, and it depends on the flight costs, and it depends on the destinations and where I can actually travel to. So I'm from New York originally, and I like to go home every now and again. So normally I will pick Frontier Airlines because it's a direct flight. They usually have it early in the morning, so the chances of it being canceled is very slim, and because it's only 1 flight per day, it's normally not going to cancel. It may delay a little bit, but it's not going to cancel. I've never been involved in a cancellation on Frontier. So one time I was able to get a seat ticket for $15 each way. That for me was unbelievable. And what I decided was, even if I didn't go, even if it did cancel, $30 was not going to hurt me. It was not going to make me feel any kind of way. I would have been a little bit disappointed because I love going back home. However, that was not going to break the bank. Comparing to other long haul flights, if I'm going, say, overseas, or if I'm going across to California, I might choose the traditional airline like Delta because there's more options available. So depending on how much I pay for the ticket, depending on where I'm traveling to, and depending on what I'm going for, that's how I normally make my decision. So yes, I'm always looking for the best deal. I'm always looking at the budget airlines as well. However, it depends on what you have available to you, and it depends on what you have to do when you get there and how important it is to be at your destination on time. So that's the decision that I normally make. I try to take all of those things in account. And normally when I travel with my friends, they always want the best deal. They always like, oh, what's the cheapest way to get there? However, the cheapest way may not always be the best way. So an informed decision is always going to be the best decision. Thank you for watching. If you like this content and you would like to see more, please hit the subscribe button or feel free to leave a comment and ask me any travel related questions. Thank you and have a great day.